I woke up in my boss's body on a Tuesday morning, staring at a reflection that wasn't mine, his smug jawline, his tailored suit hanging loose on my unfamiliar frame, and the first thing I did was smile. Because revenge doesn't wait for permission. I'd spent 3 years rotting in a prison cell for a fraud I didn't commit, pinned on me by the man whose skin I now wore like a stolen overcoat. And as I adjusted his Rolex on my wrist, I whispered to the mirror, "Hello, Victor. Let's see how you like being invisible." By noon, I'd wired every cent from his offshore accounts to anonymous charities for white-collar crime victims. And as the alerts pinged on his phone like incoming missiles, I felt the sweet burn of justice uncoiling in my gut, Clara's gut. Finally free. It started with a betrayal so clean it could have been scripted by Wall Street wolves. My name's Clara Hensley, 32 when it all went down. A mid-level analyst at Apex Financial in the glass tower jungle of Midtown Manhattan. I was the kind of girl who believed in the grind, early mornings at the corner deli for black coffee, late nights poring over spreadsheets that kept the firm's hedge funds afloat. Victor Langford, my boss, CEO, golden boy, the guy who could charm a jury with a wink, was the one who taught me ambition had teeth. He poached me from a sleepy firm in Philly, promised me the stars if I'd handle the gray areas on his biggest deal, a merger with a pharma giant that smelled like insider trading from a mile away. I didn't know the full rot then. Victor was laundering money through shell companies, cooking books to inflate stock prices, all while schmoozing senators at Davos. But I was the fall guy. One night, after too many whiskeys in his corner office overlooking the Hudson, he handed me a USB drive. "Just archive this, Clara." Routine stuff. Routine my ass. It was the smoking gun, emails, wire transfers, the works proving he'd bribed regulators. I plugged it in, saw the abyss staring back, and when I confronted him, he laughed low and oily, like I was the punchline. "You're in too deep now, sweetheart. Back out, and you're done. Help me bury it, and you're golden." I chose golden. Stupid. Scared Clara, thinking loyalty bought a seat at the table. I encrypted the files, deleted traces, even forged a memo shifting blame to a dead whistleblower. By morning, the feds were at our door, anonymous tip, they said, and Victor's testimony painted me as the mastermind. She was ambitious, Your Honor, ruthless. I got 8 years in federal lockup, minimum security, but soul-crushing all the same. Victor? A slap on the wrist, promotion to the board, and a feature in Forbes as the Phoenix of Finance. Prison was a slow bleed. Danbury, Connecticut, white-collar spa. They joked, but the isolation carved me hollow. I read every law book in the library, networked with ex-cons who'd clawed their way back, and nursed a rage that fermented like moonshine. The secret Victor buried deeper than the fraud? My mother. She'd been his first victim. Back in the 90s, a junior accountant at his old firm. Fired after he tanked her career over a misfiled report that exposed his early scams. She spiraled. Pills, then the bottle, then a car wreck on I-95 that left me orphaned at 16. Victor knew. Hell, he'd sent flowers to the funeral and signed with a card that read, "Regrets." I'd found it years later, tucked in her Bible, and it was the thread that unraveled everything. Parole came after 3, good behavior, and a pro bono lawyer who'd smelled blood. I stepped out into a drizzly autumn, the world sharp and unforgiving, vowing silence until the moment was right. New York swallowed me, a studio in Astoria. Freelance gigs crunching numbers for startups too small to care about my record. But Victor? He was everywhere, billboards for his memoir, Empire of Trust, podcasts dissecting his comeback. I watched from the shadows, plotting. That's when I met Lena. Lena Vasquez, a cult consultant to the elite, tarot for tech bros, seances for socialites. I found her through a dark web forum for the desperate, posting under Justice Delayed 87. She operated out of a brownstone in Harlem, walls lined with grimoires and crystals that hummed like live wires. Body swaps aren't parlor tricks, she warned over herbal tea that tasted like regret. They're pacts with the void. You take his form, but his demons tag along. Desperation makes theologians of us all. We struck the deal at midnight, a ritual in her basement, blood from a shared cut, incantations in a tongue older than Wall Street. 1 week, she said. Enough to burn his world. Then it snaps back, or it doesn't. Tuesday dawned gray, the swap hitting like a freight train. I blinked into Victor's penthouse on the Upper East Side, marble floors, abstract art screaming money, a king bed still warm from his absence at some gala. His body felt wrong, taller, heavier, the ache of a hangover in temples that weren't mine. But the power? Electric. I raided his closet, slipped into a Brioni suit that cost more than my yearly rent, and hailed a car to Apex. The doorman nodded like I was God. The elevator whispered me to the C-suite. Victor's assistant. Poor Kendra, blonde. Efficient. Utterly loyal, did a double take, but recovered with coffee and a schedule. Morning, Mr. Langford. Board call in 10. I nailed the lingo, the swagger, barking orders that echoed his style. Push the pharma residuals to Q4, bury M deep. By lunch, I'd access the vaults, encrypted drives, Swiss accounts, the digital graveyard of his sins. The first wire was to the Innocence Project, 5 mil. Earmarked for fraud appeals. Ping. His phone buzzed. Alerts from Zurich. Panic from his broker. I savored it like bourbon. Straight. Afternoon brought the hook. A whistleblower meeting, ironic. Given my history. Some junior trader. Twitchy kid named Raj. Spilling about a new pump and dump on green energy stocks. Victor would have shut him down. NDA and a severance trap. Me? I leaned in. Victor's baritone smooth as silk. Tell me everything, son. We're fixing this. Raj's eyes widened, gratitude. Confusion, as I recorded it all. Not for leverage, but truth. By 5. I'd leaked it to the Times tip line, anonymized, with Victor's digital fingerprints all over the attachments. That night, back in the penthouse, the mirrors mocked me. His face, 60 but Botox fresh. Eyes like shark glass stared back, but my thoughts churned beneath. I poured scotch, scrolled his contacts, ex-wives, mistresses, the senator he'd bought. A text to his daughter. Emily distant. Ivy League sharp. Missed you at the gala. Dinner tomorrow? Her reply. Dad? Everything okay? Guilt twisted. Sharp. This wasn't just revenge, it was possession. But Clara's fire burned hotter. I drafted the confession, a manifesto, detailing the merger fraud, my framing, Mom's ruin. Scheduled to blast to every major outlet at dawn Friday. Wednesday cracked open with chaos. Victor's, my phone exploded, brokers screaming about frozen assets. The board demanding a war room. I played the part, storming into the glass conference lair, veins thrumming with stolen authority. Sabotage, I growled, slamming a fist that wasn't mine. Someone's gunning for us. I want names. They scattered like roaches, accountants, lawyers, the whole hive buzzing. In the fray, I slipped the kill switch, rerouting client funds to escrow, flagging IRS audits on every shady subsidiary. Controversial? Hell yes. Ruining innocence to gut the beast? The line blurred. But Victor's empire was built on worse. Lunch was, with the senator, greasy power lunch at Delmonico's, filet for him, nothing for me. Appetite soured. He leaned in, breath like aged regret. Vic, the hearings, your testimony greased the wheels. What's this noise about leaks? I smiled Victor's smile. Cold calculus. Old debts, Senator. But we're square. Under the table, I slid a USB, proof of his kickbacks. Time-stamped. Burn this, or it burns you. His face drained. A fish on dry dock. Betrayal's echo. Full circle. As I left, tipping the valet with 100, Victor's careless generosity, I felt the pact straining. Lena's warning a whisper in my skull. Void's demand tolls. By evening, the wolves circled. Emily called, voice edged with worry. Dad, people are saying weird shit online. Stock stipping. You sound off. I choked on a lie. Her laugh from childhood echoing. Picnics in Central Park. Before Victor's ambition eclipsed fatherhood. Just business.
Kiddo.
Love you. Hang up.
Pour un heure.
The manifesto grew teeth. Not just confession, but a call out, naming enablers. The system that choose dreamers like me. Controversial decisions piled. Do I tank the firm? Cost thousands our jobs? Or mercy kill only Victor? The mirror laughed. His body itched. Foreign pulse racing with my pulse. Thursday was the storm's eye. Apex teetered, trades halted, feds sniffing preliminary probes. I holed up in Victor's office. Curtains drawn against the paparazzi scrum below. Their lenses hungry for scandal. Kendra knocked. Tentative, sir? The boards revolt. They're voting no confidence at close.
Perfect.
I nodded her out. Then hacked the shareholder portal. Victor's God mode access a skeleton key. Proxy votes flipped. Loyalists bought with whispers of dirt on rivals. By 4, the vote stalled. Me, him, clinging to the throne. But the real play? The will. Victor's estate. Ironclad. Funneled to trusts, shielding his ill-gotten hoard. I amended it digitally, subtle. Notarized via e-sign, bequeathing the bulk to victims' funds. Emily secured, but the rest? Vapor. Night fell heavy. Harlem calling. Lena's brownstone reeked of sage and sweat. She eyed me, him, with crow's feet deepening. The swap phrase. Clara. His essence fights back, nightmares yet. I confess the dreams. Mom's wreck in slow-mo. Victor's laugh overlaying the screech. She chanted. Herb smoking, but the void yawned wider. End it clean, or it claims you both. Back to the penthouse. I pen the final hook. A video. Victor's face confessing it all. My framing. The bribes. Mom's ghost. Uploaded to a dead man's switch. Timed for a Friday exodus. Friday broke bloody. Sirens wailed distant. Another Wall Street suicide? No. Just prelude. I strode into Apex calm as a monk. Suit pressed. Resolve steel. Emails flew. Mass resignation. Pinned on ethical recalibration. Controversial? Mass hysteria rippled. Traders bolting. Clients fleeing like rats. The board convened emergency. Faces ashen in the fishbowl. Victor. What the hell? I stood. His hide a weapon. Gentlemen. Ladies. This firm's rotten. I'm outing it all. Join or jump. Silence. Then exodus. By noon. The manifesto dropped. Headlines screaming Apex CEO confesses empire of lies. Stocks cratered. Fed swarmed. I slipped out amid the scrum. Victor's limo idling curbside. Driver nodded. I directed to the bridge, Brooklyn.
For the irony.
Wind whipped the East River below. Gulls mocking. Phone buzzed. Emily.
Sobbing.
Dad? It's everywhere. What did you do? His voice cracked. Fixing mistakes.
Iminência.
Yours and mine. The pact tugged. Snap, imminent. Lena's words. 1 week. Time's up. But revenge?
It bloomed.
As sirens closed in, I stepped from the car, shedding the suit like snakeskin. The swap reversed in a vertigo rush, flesh rippling, bones realigning, dumping me back in Clara's frame on the promenade. Victor's husk slumping in the limo.
Confusion dawning.
Cops hauled him, ranting about imposters, but the evidence? Ironclad. His voice. His prints. Emily's call cut through. Clara? What the? She'd pieced it. The daughter sharp as her old man. Monday morning. I sipped coffee in Astoria. Times blaring Victor's arraignment. Life without parole. Assets seized. The twist? Lena's void didn't snap clean. Echoes lingered. His arrogance in my laugh. My fire in his eyes behind bars. Emily reached out. Tentative alliance. He destroyed us both, hinting at deeper webs. Perhaps her complicity buried. Justice? Or just swapped cages? The debate rages in me still. Did I free us? Or forge a new monster? Wall Street hums on. Hungrier. But they know now. Lose the quiet ones. And the storm follows. The reversal hit like whiplash on that Brooklyn Bridge walkway. The East River churning below, as if it sensed the cosmic hiccup. 1 second. I was Victor Langford, untouchable titan in bespoke wool, barking at a driver whose name I couldn't recall. The next, I was Clara again, petite, scarred. The weight of 3 years prison ink faint on my knuckles, stumbling against the railing, gasping as the world righted itself. His limo peeled away in confusion. Sirens already wailing from the Manhattan side, drawn by the digital inferno I'd ignited. I laughed, raw and ragged, the sound swallowed by traffic thunder.
Free.
Finally. But freedom's a tricky bitch. It comes with ghosts. I vanished into the boroughs. Subway rattling me back to Astoria like a prodigal daughter. My studio, cramped, sunless, rent paid in ramen and resolve, welcomed me with stale air and a blinking answering machine. 3 messages, a wrong number, a bill collector, and Emily. Victor's daughter, 25 and fierce, voice laced with that patrician edge from Andover and Yale. Clara? It's M. Call me.
Now. Click.
I sank onto the futon, pulse hammering. How much did she know? Victor's late-night rants about that Hensley girl poisoning her against me? Or had she seen the manifesto? The video where her dad spilled guts about framing the orphan analyst who'd once babysat her during boardroom marathons? I dialed. Fingers trembling not from fear but the surreal aftertaste of his body, muscle memory of a golf swing I'd never taken. The phantom itch of a mistress's perfume.
Ing.
Silence. Then a breath. Holy shit.
Clara.
The news, it's everywhere.
Dad's.
He's losing it. Screaming about body doubles.
Swaps.
You did this. Her tone, accusation wrapped in awe. I leaned into it. Voice steady American grit.
Not did.
Fixed. He took everything from me, my life, my mom's. Yours too. If you look close. A pause. Heavy as Hudson fog.
Dinner.
Neutral ground. Joe's Pizza. Tomorrow? I agreed. Hanging up to the TV drone, CNBC dissecting Apex's implosion. Pundits crowing about the reckoning Wall Street deserved. Sleep evaded. The void's toll manifesting in fever dreams, Victor's boardroom morphing to Danbury's rec yard. His face on my cellmate's bulk. Whispering, "You think you're out? We're fused now." Dawn brought clarity. Phase 2. Revenge wasn't a bonfire, it was arson. Methodical. I booted my ancient laptop, VPN layered like armor, and dove into the dark pools. Victor's digital empire, cracked wide by the swap, yielded more than funds, emails to offshore fixers, photos of coerced interns, a dossier on Senator Hale's youthful indiscretions that explained the greased palms. Controversial?
Blackmail assassin.
Even on sinners. But as I compiled the next leak for ProPublica, this time, with Emily's unwitting corroboration via old texts, I rationalized. Ends justify. Or so the wolves howl. Saturday blurred into reconnaissance. Joe's Pizza in Midtown. Steam rising from sidewalk grates like New York's underbelly exhaling. Emily arrived late. Trench coat cinched against November bite. Blonde bob swinging like a pendulum. She looked like Victor, same aquiline nose, but eyes softer. Haunted. We grabbed slices, folding them New York style. Cheese stringing tension. He called from holding, she said, voice low over the sizzle of ovens. Ranting about you. Clara. Said you stole him. Wore him like a suit. I chewed slow, meeting her gaze. And if I did, would it change the math? He framed me for his fraud. 8 years.
Eminencia.
Your tuition paid with dirty money. She flinched, pepperoni curling like accusations. I knew scraps. The merger. He bragged. But Mom warned me, Victor's a black hole. Divorced him for it. The secret unspooled over second slices. Victor's first wife, Lydia, had clawed evidence of his early cons, only for it to vanish in a house fire. Emily, 9 and remembered the smoke. He rebuilt on ashes ours. Betrayal layered. Generational. I slid my phone across. Manifesto open. Read the part about my mom. Evelyn Hensley. He didn't just fire her. He dosed her coffee with fentanyl-laced pills, staged the crash as suicide by booze. Emily's fork, wait. Plastic knife dropped. Proof. The swap's gift. Victor's safe deposit box scan. Timestamps damning. Her jaw set. Yale steel.
Feds get this. And.
Whatever you did. Clara? Thank you. But don't disappear. We finish this together. Alliance forged in grease and grief. Sunday. We met in Washington Square, arch looming like judgment, plodding over park benches slick with leaves. Emily's access. Family lawyer. still loyal to the crumbling throne. She fed me codes to Victor's Cayman vaults. I funneled more to reparations, widows of his disappeared rivals. Scholarships for kids like 16-year-old me. Decisions nod. Emily's complicity? She'd interned at Apex. Signed NDAs blind. Forgive or expose? The void whispered doubt. Victor's cunning seeping. Use her. Then discard. I shoved it down, focusing on the climax. Monday's arraignment, prime time for the kill shot. Nightmares peaked, his body overlaying mine. Hands mine, around Emily's throat in a penthouse rage. I woke sweating. Called Lena. Voicemail. Clara? The packed echoes. Sever it. Burn the sigil. Her Harlem altar. Midnight dash. The brownstone door creaked open. Sage heavy. Lena, frail in flannel, lit the candle, our blood prick still scarred pink. He clings, she murmured. Flames dancing shadows. Powerful men don't yield easy. We chanted, void yawning. But the burn felt partial, Victor's laugh lingering in my throat. Monday dawned electric. City pulse syncing with mine. I suited up, thrifted Brooks Brothers, Clara's armor, and cabbed to the courthouse. Foley Square buzzing with press hyenas. Emily waited curbside, nodding us through security like co-conspirators. Victor, in orange jumpsuit, looked diminished, 60 going on ancient, eyes wild as he scanned the gallery. They locked on me, recognition, horror. You, he mouthed, veins bulging. The judge droned bail denial, his lawyer stammered motions. Then the twist, his outburst. She's not Clara. It's me, Victor. She swapped us. Stole my life. Laughter rippled. Courtroom farce. But Emily squeezed my hand, her whisper fierce. Now. I nodded to the bailiff, prepped via her lawyer, and the dossier dropped. USB to the DA. Live streamed leaks hitting X. TikTok viraling Langford legacy. Senator Hale's face flashed on screens outside. Resignation tweet mid-hearing. Victor lunged. Cuffs rattling. Lies. I built this. Built on bodies, mine. Mom's. Lydia's ghost. Guards wrestled him down. The gavel cracked like thunder.
Outside.
Chaos reigned. Reporters swarming. Emily shielding me to a diner alcove. It's over, she said, but her eyes searched mine. The reversal's gift? Or curse? Clara. During the swap.
Did you
Feel him? Temptations. Truth time. The wires to Charity's mask schemes for my escape fund. The leaks cherry-picked to spare her a sliver. Controversial calculus. Protect the innocent. Or scorch all. Some. I admitted. But I chose us. The void purred. Sated. Victor's empire ash. But embers glowed. A final email. From his prison tablet.
to me?
You win. Hensley. But the real secret? Emily's not mine. Paternity fraud. Lydia's revenge. Seeding doubt. Twist reversed. Blood ties severed. But our bond? Forged in fire. Happy? Tragic? As sirens faded. New York indifferent. I debated. Justice mends. Or merely swaps the chains. The courthouse din faded like a bad hangover as Emily and I slipped into a black and white on 6th Avenue. The cabbie's Yankees capped nodding sympathy at our silence. Victor's email burned in my pocket, printed hasty from a library kiosk, ink smudged like guilt. Emily's not mine. 6 words detonating the myth of his dynasty. Lydia's parting shot from beyond the grave. I glanced at her profile. lit by scrolling tickers. Apex delisted.
Hale indik Ted.
Clara the Swapper trending with memes of me as a voodoo queen in pinstripes. She caught my stare, brow furrowing. What now? Clara? Dad. Victor, he's buried.
But you?
You're a ghost in the machine.
Ghost. Apt.
The swap's aftershocks hummed, flashes of his memories bleeding into mine. First kill in a boiler room scam. The thrill of Mom's crash report stamped accident. I shuddered. Queensbound traffic clotting like congealed rage. Weary build, I said. Voice gravel from disuse. You and me. No empires, just us. She snorted.
Rye.
Two women against the street? Sounds like a pitch for Netflix. But her hand found mine. Squeeze electric.
Alliance.
Tentative as spring thaw. Dropping her at her walk-up in the village brownstone chic. Trust fund echo. I cabbed home alone. Astoria's neon haze a bomb. The studio greeted with clutter. Parole papers yellowing. A half-breed lean in mocking from the shelf. I poured red from a box. $2 Chuck. American as apple pie regret, and dissected the email. Forensics via Tor. Victor's tablet. Smuggled contraband. Timestamp prearrangement. Lydia's hand? DNA test buried in his files. Confirming her affair with a rival exec. Dead now. Heart attack suspicious. The secret within the secret. Victor raised Emily as pawn. Leverage in custody wars. All while knowing the math didn't add. Betrayal's fractal. Endless.
Tuesday brought the hounds.
My door buzzed at dawn. Feds. Badges gleaming. MS. Hensley? Questions on Langford. I played dumb. Coffee breath steady. Fan of true crime? They pressed. Leaks traced to my IP. Sloppy VPN slip during the swap high. Emily's lawyer swooped. Pro bono shield. But the interrogation dragged. 6 hours in a fluorescent box. Coffee turning to acid. Body swap? That's your defense. The agent smirked. Brooklyn tough. Controversial? Admitting Lena's ritual meant psych eval.
Commitment.
I stonewalled. Victor framed me once. History rhymes. They cut me loose by dusk. Warning tale. Don't leave town. Words spread. Ex-ablaze with Clara lore. Ex-con Avenger. Witchy whistleblower. Offers trickled. Podcasts, crime junkie begging the swap deets. Book deals, ghostwriter emails pinging. Temptation nod. Monetize the pain? But Victor's echo warned. Cash the fame. Become me. I ghosted them, diving instead into the void's residue. Lena summoned. Her brownstone a sanctuary of smudge sticks and silence. The pact lingers, she confirmed. Palms reading my scars. Burn more, his relics. A lock of his hair from the ritual. Torched in a abalone shell. Flames whispering release. But dreams persisted. His boardroom. Me in his skin. Signing Emily's adoption papers. Forged. To bind her. Wednesday. Emily crashed my studio. Pizza boxes and plotting pads. Girls' night gone rogue. Read this. She thrust a folder. Manila crisp. Victor's memoir galleys. Pre-scandal. Sanitized sins. Buried footnote. My mom's tragic lapse, spun as cautionary. We tore pages. Laughing manic, catharsis and confetti. But her eyes shadowed. The email. He told you. I nodded. Slow. Lydia's bomb. You're free of him. Tears. Hot. Free? Or orphan twice. Hug then. Bone deep. Decisions loomed. Expose the paternity. Shatter her world further? Or bury it? Let her choose blood or bond. The line blurred. Mercy's edge sharp. Climax brewed in shadows. Thursday leak. Hale's full ledger. Routed through Emily's contacts, anonymous drop to 60 minutes. Senator fled to his Nantucket bunker. Press chopper thumping overhead. Victor. From Rikers. Sued for defamation, his confession video deemed deepfake. AI whispers muddying waters. Controversy crested. Was I hero or hack? Protests outside Apex's husk. Justice for Clara signs waving beside Free Victor banners from loyalist bots. I watched from a dive bar in Sunnyside. Jukebox crooning Springsteen, Born to Run. The barkeep. Grizzled vet. Slid a Pabst. Heard your story.
Kid.
Wall Street eats its young. You eat back. Friday marked week's end. Swap's Echo anniversary. Lena's ritual redux. Full moon over Harlem. Drums pounding from street ciphers below. We dance the void, sweat slick. Primal, severing ties with salt and screams. His laugh faded. Finally. But Saturday dawned with a hammer. Emily's call. Frantic. Clara, Rikers riot. Victor's shanked.
Critical.
Heart stutter, pity, or poison. I cabbed to the island. Chain link and despair. Her waiting in visitor gray. He named you, she whispered. Last words. Tell Clara. The swap was mutual.
Lie?
Or twist. The real reversal hit in ICU sterile. Victor tubed. Monitors beeping dirge. His eyes fluttered. Locking mine, not rage, but mirror. Evelyn's girl. You feel it? The power. Whisper.
Vet.
I didn't frame you alone. The board, they voted. Your mom. She knew too much. Gasping.
Gone.
Emily sobbed. I stood numb. Secret inverted. Not lone wolf. But pack. The crime I'd borne?
Collective scene.
Me the scapegoat lamb. Aftermath churned. Obituaries spun Victor Saint, philanthropist facade holding. Emily and I sued the remnants, class action for victims. Settlements funding a foundation. Hensley Langford Watch. Auditing empires. Happy? We thrived, her in law. Me consulting ethical fintech. Astoria blooming with plants and peace. But by tragic undercurrent, his echo in my ambition. Her doubt in every mirror. The debate? Readers, you tell me, did the swap liberate? Or just relocate the darkness? New York shrugs. Skyscrapers piercing clouds. Hungry still. Lose the fighters. And the city crumbles.
But we
rose. Victor's deathbed rasp echoed in the Rikers shuttle back to Manhattan, the ferry slicing choppy waters like a scalpel through pretense. The board, they voted. Plural predator. Not solo shark. Emily clutched my arm. Wind whipped. Her voice cracking over horn blasts. Mutual? What the hell does that mean? Clara? I stared at Lady Liberty's torch. Mocking with false promise. Gifts for the teeming masses. Chains for the rest. Means the rot's systemic. Not just him. We docked silent. Hailing separate cabs. Heard a therapy-mandated grief. Me to the grind of unraveling threads. Sundays sprawled lazy. But my mind raced marathons. The studio. Once cage. Now war room. White boards scrawled with names. Bored ghosts like Harlan Voss. Silver Fox who'd golfed with Victor at Winged Foot. Or Mira Klein. Ice Queen CFO with a Hamptons hedge. Their vote. A midnight email chain from the merger eve. Unearthed in my swap hall. Sacrifice the girl. Clean slate.
Me.
Collateral in their casino. Controversial reckoning. Expose the cabal. Torch careers. Or sue surgically.
Bleeding is low.
Emily texted. Foundation first. Justice later.
Sage.
But her later hid fear of inheritance. The Langford stain. Lena visited unannounced, bearing tamales from her abuela's recipe, comfort wrapped in corn husks. We ate cross-legged on the floor, Sage lingering. The void released, she said, eyes knowing. But echoes? Choose silence. Or they consume. Her own tale spilled, a swap gone wrong in '09. Client lost to Wall Street suicide. Her banished from elite salons. Power tempts. You tasted it, Victor's throne. Don't swallow. I confess the temptations, during the swap. Rerouting a slush fund, not just a charity, but a personal bolt hole in Belize, insurance. I called it. Her nod. Non-judgmental. Human. But cut the cord. Monday's sun rose bloody over the skyline. A new normal dawning. Apex's corpse auctioned. Fire sale to a Boston VC. Jobs saved but soul sold. I clocked into my gig at a Brooklyn co-op. Crunching green bonds for solar startups. The rhythm grounding. Data pure.
Nos a dos.
But the call came at lunch, Harlan Voss. Voice oiled as ever. Clara.
Darling.
Coffee? The Plaza. 11. Trap? Or olive branch? Emily urged caution. Record it. I did. Wired like a Fed. Striding into the Palm Court with its gilded ghosts. Harlan waited. Cream suit crisp. Pinky ring flashing like a warning. Tragic. Victor. But you. Quite the phoenix. Smarm dripped. I ordered espresso.
Black.
Cut the eulogy. The vote, your email. Why me? His laugh. Avuncular. Business.
Dear.
You were. Expendable. Ambitious. But no Rolodex. The recording words silent in my bag. And now, afraid I'll burn the house. He leaned. Conspiratorial. Join us. Board seat. Once dust settles. Women like you, fierce we need. Temptation serpent.
Coiled.
Power. Real this time. On my terms. But Victor's echo sneered. Take it. Rule. I declined with a smile. Clear as steel. Tell Mira and the ghosts. The tapes drop Tuesday. Unless you resign. En masse. His face calcified. I left him to his scone. Heart-pounding triumph. Emily met me post-meet.
Washington Muse Cafe.
Steam from lattes fogging panes. You turned it down? Disbelief. Admiration.
Yeah.
No thrones. Just truth. We planned the drop. Voss's confession live to Bloomberg. Board emails to SEC. Controversy peaked. Wall Street witches hunt trending. Feminists cheering. Conservatives decrying witch trials. Debates raged in comments. Heroines or harpies. Tuesday unleashed. Headlines howling apex cabal crumbles. Resignations cascading like dominoes in a bear market. Mira Klein fled to Dubai. Voss to a vineyard sabbatical. The feds reopen my case. Exoneration swift. Sealed records vapor. Emily and I toasted at a rooftop in Bushwick. City lights winking complicity. To Evelyn, she said. Clinking. And Lydia. Mom's ghosts. Avenged. But the twist lingered. Victor's mutual swap? Lena's lore hinted at rituals reciprocal had he sought her out. Desperate for a vessel, when probes closed in, a final file. Buried deep, his search history. Occult Body Exchange NYC. Pact initiated by the prey. Or predator's ploy. Wednesday brought the bikarmic bloom. Foundation launch. Hensley Langford Ethics Lab. Gala at the new school. Donors mingling with ex-cons turned coders. I spoke. Voice steady. Wall Street taught me ambition's price. This, the payback. Applause thundered. Emily beamed. Her law firm's scouting talent from our roster. Post-party. Alone in the crowd. A stranger approached, tall. Shadowed. Lena's echo in his cadence. MS. Hensley, Harlan sends regrets. And this. Envelope.
Thick.
Inside, Voss's pinky ring. Pawned proceeds to our fund, 10 mil. Mercy or mockery? Nights softened. Dreams mine again. Mom's laugh in Philly row houses. Not crashes. Emily crashed often. Sister surrogate.
Palotting et pansino. BC lobing.
Silicon Valley audits. Happy threads wove. My book deal. Ghost-free, swapped shadows, a Wall Street reckoning. Her engagement to a public defender, irony's kiss. But tragic undercurrents tugged, the void scar. A faint dissociation in mirrors. Victor's smirk flickering. And Emily's choice, DNA test pending. Blood or not. She confided over wine. Doesn't matter. Your family. The end? Open ledger. As winter gripped the grid, snow blanketing Central Park like absolution, I walked the paths where Victor once picnicked with lies. New York pulsed, hustlers hawking, tourists gaping, indifferent to our saga. Readers debate, did Clara's swap shatter the beast? Or birth a hydra? Justice is a mirror. Cracked but reflecting. Lose the betrayed. And empires teeter. But we walked on. Calmly. Costing them everything.